Well, good morning. How are you all today? And welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. I want to talk about real preparedness and ask you whether you're involved in real preparedness or not. And I think that a lot of people aren't, and that's why I want to talk about this. Before we get into that, reminder, if you're not registered yet and want to come to the first annual Stonemont Integrative Preparedness Summer Gathering, is coming up on July the 13th in Lenexa, Kansas. I always put the information down in the information box. You can register on the website, stonemont.us. You do have to register. It doesn't cost anything, but we just need to know how many people are going to be there. It should be a great time. I am looking forward to meeting everybody. Uh, so do that if you're not. Um, when I just kind of perused the titles of the all of the videos that pop up on my feed every morning, and of course most of them are, well, they're either preparedness or financial, centered. Mostly preparedness. I don't watch most of them. I'll be honest with you. It's been probably a week since I watched. Well, that's not true. It's been several days since I watched any. Okay, it's just where I'm in the process of finalizing the latest book and everything like that, and had a lot going on, so I haven't. But as I see these titles scroll by, I can see that we're near the end of the world, and that we are that World War III is going to happen by noon, and the financial system is going to crash, and you better buy gold and get your money out of the bank. I see all of these things, and and it makes me realize that how seductive this is. How many people are attracted to these? It's nothing new. I mean, the old line in the newspapers: if it bleeds, it leads. People are. There's a psychology to this. Maybe I'll get into that sometime. But people they're attracted to the negative. There was a whole study done about why we seem to like to think negatively instead of positively. And I think a lot of that goes, and this isn't exactly, well, I'm not sure, I forget exactly what the study said. I'll have to go back and read it. But in my opinion, it's because it's a lot easier to go with the negative, because that appeals to the victim mindset. To go with the positive, it is only attractive to those who are builders, those who are continually striving to better themselves and their position. That simply takes more work than to say, well, there's nothing I can do. It's all horrible. The world's falling apart. What's going to happen? And I can't do anything about it, and blah, blah, blah. See, you don't have to take any responsibility for that. There are always many more of those people, sadly, than there are of the positive people that say, here's something that's coming down the road. What do I need to do to prepare for that and keep myself and my family on an equilibrium? So that's the psychology behind that, from Dr. Steve. But the problem there is that it doesn't really lend itself to real preparedness. I don't think most people who watch these videos, whether mine or other channels, I don't think most people who consider themselves as preppers or part of the preparedness world are actually preparedness minded, or as we call them here, PMPs, preparedness minded people, preparedness minded person. Okay, I don't think that they are. I think that they're consuming this more of as an entertainment, and that's why they're attracted to to the negative, um, and that keeps them, because that's where they're going. They aren't going to be prepared, and so I want to talk about for a minute what is real preparedness. And real preparedness is why I term it integrative preparedness. That's why I named this channel and my business integrative preparedness, in that everything works together toward a common purpose of being prepared for any eventuality. Okay? pretty simple, right? It seems like that should be obvious, but really it's not obvious to a lot of people. What is real preparedness? I'm sure everybody could have their own definition, but I would say that real preparedness is being able to live seamlessly regardless of what's happening in the rest of the world. And too many people think, well, that's impossible. And that's the kind of mindset that's holding them back. There have been many people in the world who lived fairly seamlessly through the most catastrophic situations. For instance, I make sure that I always have plenty of Folgers instant coffee. Somebody asked me the other day, how much instant coffee do you have? How can you possibly have that much? How come Jim, the character in my books, how come it's 2 years after the collapse? Why does he still have Folgers instant coffee? And I said, well, apparently you didn't read all of my book. You missed something there, right? And I won't tell you the secret of that. You have to read the books. But there is, and it's all a matter of proper planning. Now, in order to plan properly for anything, you have to have an idea, a good idea, of what you're preparing for, right? So what are you preparing for? Are you preparing for a financial collapse? Are you preparing for World War III? Are you preparing for a civil war? Are you preparing for a revolution? Are you preparing for the internal enemies within our borders to rise up and create havoc? Are you preparing for an EMP, a CME, a nuclear war, the end of the world? Well, now the real end of the world, you can't do a lot to prepare for that except getting right with the good Lord himself, but everything else is within your ability to have some idea of how it might manifest and therefore what you ought to do about it. Okay. So which one of those are you preparing for, and which one of those should you prepare for? Which one do you think is most likely to happen? You want to know which one I think is most likely to happen? I don't know. I mean, seriously, I don't know. Neither do you, right? We can have our opinion. We can worry about this or that, and you shouldn't worry at all. You should have a concern. You should recognize that these things are challenges, that these things could be a problem, and then you prepare for them. But you shouldn't worry, because a person who is worrying is a person who's not doing anything about it, right? You ever notice how your worries? I used to worry. You know how your worries get worse at night? You know why they're getting worse at night? Because you can't do anything about them. All of a sudden the sun comes up and you're at it again, and now you're not worrying because you're working towards solving the problem. So worry gets in the way of solutions. You know, I told on the church channel one of the greatest stories about worry is Jesus walking on the water. I won't get into that. If you want to hear about that, join us over on Stonemont Church. But if you have your eyes on the solution, you're not so concerned with the problem. You need to recognize the problem, but you can't be consumed by it. So real preparedness is the process and the determination as a result of an understanding and recognition of the threats, of being prepared for those threats. Now, many people will tell you, and if I could wave a magic wand and get people to stop thinking negatively, I would, because negative thinking, cynical thinking, gets in the way of more people than anything else. Steve, what in the world does that have to do with preparedness? It has everything to do with preparedness, because the way you look at things, the way you look at life, determines how you're going to approach it, how you're going to deal with things, how you're going to prepare for things. Okay, the person there was a fascinating Tom Usher, one of our guys over on the Patreon channel, and I say that because this is also going to be on YouTube. And if you're not with us on Patreon, come join us on Patreon. You're going to get so much out of it. There's so much more over there, and it's just $1 a month. The link is down below. Hang on half a second. I hear somebody walking that I might need to talk to. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I heard my oldest son is getting ready to go to work, and if you've been with me for a while, you know that I always stop, no matter what I'm doing, when one of my kids or Kelly is leaving, just tell them goodbye. It's the little things. I put George Strait's new song, "The Little Things," up over on the Patreon channel, and it is so important. I'm probably going to do another one about that, a video on Patreon when I get done with this. But I ran up there, ran upstairs and back, so let me get settled back down. Tom Usher, one of our people over on Patreon, did just a brilliant piece. He's a very thoughtful guy, and I deemed him the poet laureate of the YouTube channel. But one more. Okay, had to go do that one more thing. He posted a very interesting comment over there about things that he had seen and a study that he had read years ago about how a negativity or a sense of failure, kind of, or a sense of foreboding or a sense of victimhood, maybe that would be a better way to put it, is almost inherited, and how after some generations of people being stuck in one particular strata, maybe of society or socioeconomic strata or whatever, it becomes just ingrained in the generations that they can do no better than previous generations have done. And so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that, well, I can't do any better than this. And so there you go. And certainly there are those who break out. I mean, I've known people that came from generations of, really not good stuff to become exceptional people and great successes in their field. But I think that there is that danger, and the thing that kind of jumps off of that is that there is this idea that, well, if I don't think I'm any better than that, I don't think I can better my position in life, I don't think that good things are possible, then they kind of put that onto other people too. They'll say, well, I can't, therefore you can't, and they're trying to establish a larger group so that they can feel comfortable within that group. But then there's a bit of class jealousy there too. That when somebody tries to do better, they'll actually try to hold them back, right? There really is. Or they'll say, well, the people who are doing better cheated, or it's unfair, or they had a head start, or blah, blah, blah. It's a matter of not taking responsibility for your own decisions and choices you make in life. And really, wherever we are, it's the culmination of all the choices that we've made in our life, right? That is central to preparedness. So a lot of people are constricted. I've said many times that the only limitations you have are the ones you put on yourself. And people will come on and argue with me on that. And you know why? Because they would rather remain in those limitations than do the work it takes to break loose of them. And so they will remain in the comfort of those limitations and victimhood and failure or whatever. That's what keeps the majority of people down. And that's why they won't work toward real preparedness. Instead, they will bounce back and forth between, the fear of the day. I'm afraid about this today, and I'll be afraid about this tomorrow. I was afraid of that yesterday, and it's just a scary, scary world. Well, it's a scary world when you don't think that you can do anything about it, right? And that's so important, is understanding that you can do something about it, and then being determined to do something about it. So what is real preparedness? As I said, it's about being able to live seamlessly in your life, regardless of what happens outside of your life. Now, there are some things that you can't escape, dealing with. I mean, if the economy falls, uh, you're going to fall or not, depending on how you've prepared for that. All of the people you know could collapse financially. They could be losing their houses. They could be losing their jobs. Okay. But that doesn't have anything to do with you. Whether you lose your house or lose your job has everything to do with how you have positioned yourself. And I don't want to lose anybody here, because if you haven't positioned yourself as well as you would like to yet, okay, start now or work harder now. Okay. Hopefully you're somewhere on that ladder of getting better and better and better every day. And that's what real preparedness is. Getting better every day, improving your position every day, improving your preparedness, improving the quality of your life every day. I don't know what your goal might be or what you think real preparedness might be. Maybe you want to live up in the mountains. Okay, maybe you want to live out on the prairie. Do you? If you do, good. I mean, if you are at the point of where you have said, well, this is what I want. If you have already reached your goal, excellent, great. And I bet if you didn't inherit it, if it's not just where you grew up, I bet it's the result of your good decisions and hard work, right? But if you've determined, well, I want to live in the mountains, I want to live out in the prairie, I want to live wherever, then you should make that your goal. You should work toward that. And just because you may not be there now, it doesn't mean that you've failed. It means you haven't succeeded with what you want yet. And success is a journey. It's not just the destination, it's the journey. Every foot you put in front of the other toward your goal, toward your destination, is a success. And then you're on the road to real preparedness. Now, a lot of people kind of give up because they think it's too late. Well, it's I read the news, I hear all these channels telling me that the world's coming to an end really quick, and I just don't have the time or the money to be ready really quick. Well, you don't know that it's coming really quick, and neither do they. I mean, seriously, I've been hearing that the financial system's going to crash since the 1970s. I remember hearing oh, yes, I know, and somebody will come on, well, your dollar doesn't spend, it's not worth as much as it was in the 70s. That's right, but I make a lot more. Okay? I make a lot more. Inflation can be dealt with. I mean, I'll do that. That's more financial. What was I going to say? Yeah, in junior high, I remember coming home all concerned because I had been told in school that we were all going to die because they were cutting down the rainforest in the Amazon. Excuse me. And that was the lung of the earth. And we're all going to die because we're going to run out of oxygen. I was oh man, I was worried because my teacher told me that, right? So I told my mom that, and she went, ah. Yeah, well, I learned. Have you all ever seen that movie, The Green Inferno? Oh man, that's a good one. I love that movie. So I've been hearing that the financial system is going to collapse since the 70s, and I'd better buy gold. I never bought gold. Now somebody's running to the typewriter. If you'd bought gold in the 70s, you'd have X amount. And I'd say, if you'd bought land in the 70s, you'd have a lot more than the gold that you bought. Okay, that's another scare thing. Buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. It's all coming to an end. Real preparedness is the result of doing it systematically, calmly, responsibly. And I wish that I could pound this message home to people. Stop being scared. Stop being scared of so many things. This video is not going to get very many views because it's not negative. It's not about the horrible things. This kind of video, whether I do it or other people do it, doesn't matter, should get 10 times more views than the ones who are telling you that Putin is doing this and that nukes are incoming. That's too bad. This video is going to hopefully help the people who really do have a chance to become fully prepared, real preparedness, integratively prepared. Okay. The others, they don't have any chance because they're just like a bing, 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 going from one fear to the next. When I talk about integrative preparedness, as I said, it's because everything in your life should work together so seamlessly that you don't even realize you're getting prepared. Because you know what? You're not getting prepared against something. You're building for something. You're building a better future for you and your family and future generations, hopefully. I hope that you're thinking about your grandchildren. Are you building something you're going to be able to pass on to your grandchildren through your children? I live where I live because at this time I think the suburbs are far superior to a more rural location. Okay, that's going to upset some people. I don't care. I don't care. It's nothing against people who prefer small town life or rural life. And if you are there because that's been your goal, good. I congratulate you. Okay. But in my plan, and living in the suburbs is a part of a plan. You know why? Well, I'll do another one on that. But it's because of the financial opportunities that are available when you live closer to a suburban, urban environment. You can make a lot more money. Let me just put it that way. And for the person who says, but life isn't about money, Steve, it's about rice and beans. Life ain't about rice and beans. It's about building quality of life. Okay. I have my rice and beans. Understanding each step that you're taking and the importance of each step that you're taking is what is going to result in real preparedness. Long term. Don't try to get prepared by Friday. Don't try to get prepared by the time the nukes are incoming, next Tuesday or whatever. Put yourself on the path, a calm path, a path of good decisions and hard work put together to build your life to something better so that you are prepared for pretty much anything that comes down the road. And yes, it can be done. You will, for every person who's going to tell you it can be done, you're going to run into 999 people who will tell you it can't. Who do you want to believe? Who would you prefer to believe? Why don't you try? Because if you're willing to put in the work and you make the right decisions, you can. Okay? That's what my books are about. By the way, I'm not going to get into that. That's what my books are about. People ask me, what's the real lesson of the Stonemont series? The real lesson is building a good quality life. Yes, it's all about preparedness and survival and building community and horrible things happening and slavery and cannibals and people fighting, all those kinds of things. But what it's about is building quality intergenerational family, building a quality life. If you haven't got them yet, you should. I'm trying to catch up on shipping out the orders of people. Oh man, we just been slaughtered with the orders through our website. And thank you all so much, by the way, I should say that. Thank you all so much for that. I had no idea, and as you know, I keep running behind. I run out of books. People order more. I order more. I think I've ordered enough. Turns out I didn't. So I run behind again. Thank you all for your patience. You all have been so nice. So nice. There are people who have been waiting for books for me for longer than I'd like to say. But I'm working at it, and we're slowly chipping away at it. And they'll be, if you want my books quickly, get them through Amazon. Both the links are down below. You can get them through Amazon, or you can get them from me, and then I sign them for you, write a little note, and I love doing that. And there is now one-click option for the entire set, which includes the reversion, the revival, the renewal, and appeal to heaven, the blessings of freedom, happen hostages to fortune, the 7th book, which isn't quite available yet, should be in a couple of weeks, on wings like eagles, and then the Stonemont, as you can see, the Stonemont notebook. Okay. But those things, so you can get them, like I said, did I say this already? Amazon or our website, stonemont.us, links down below. So think about that. Think about real preparedness. Stop being fearful. Think about building. You see, fear is negative, building is positive. Get yourself out of the ditch of negativity that so many people trap themselves in, and to be honest, many people want to keep you in. Because it's just like, giving a junkie more dope. They need to keep coming back for it. Break loose, break the addiction, and start thinking positively, and start building a positive life through positive preparedness. And not just you, but your kids, your grandkids are going to benefit greatly from that. Okay? All right, remember, if you want to come to the gathering and you haven't registered yet, get over to the website, stonemont.us. You'll see it. That's where you can order books and mugs and T-shirts and all that. Go over to, I think you're right, and it'll say events. Go down there, get yourself registered, and I look forward to seeing everybody. I can't wait to meet you all, really. There have been so many people I've heard from who are coming that have been in the comments, and I feel a great affinity for them, and it's going to be a great, great day, July 13th. So you all have a good day. Remember, and on the flip side of this, remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So get out there and prepare well. Involve in real preparedness, not fear. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.